Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash Tales from Tech Support. In today's episode, Doctor had me fired, my company imploded. Sometimes it works, never. Choosing beggar client blows up my phone 3.5 hours after the store is closed. Customer support 24/7 you say? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Doctor had me fired, my company imploded. Back in the dark ages, around 1993, I worked for a medical transcription firm as their SysAdmin. We were doing some cutting-edge IT stuff, and getting transcriptions printed at the hospitals remotely, using print queues with the modem number hard-coded in, and the system would look for queues with anything in them and dial the number if it found something in that queue. It worked really well, until it didn't. I was the only sysadmin in this city, so I was on call 24/7/365, and was averaging 3 hours of sleep per night, when I could go home and trying to catch little catnaps here and there when I could. Anytime something would go wrong on the hospital side, I would have to go to the hospital and fix it. A few months after I started, the two of the VPs from Corp relocated to my city, since we were the most productive city with the highest profits. The first thing they did was come up with an excuse to fire the current director, then they took over operations themselves. Then my job went from taking care of our systems to taking care of the doctor's computers too. I did what I could, but I was also sending out resumes. Then I was told to go to a hospital and see why the printing stopped. I remember this day, I hadn't been home for 2 days and had been going non-stop for 18 hours. I get there, someone had unplugged the modem. I plug it back in, call comes in and jobs start printing. This doctor walks over and tells me that VP number 1 told him that I would go out to his house and work on his home computer. I politely explain to the doctor that I can't do that, and that I'm heading home to get some sleep. Then I head back to the office to pick up a few things before heading home. As soon as I walk through the door, I get escorted straight to the VP's office. Both VP number 1, VP number 2, and the office manager are there. They proceed to start chewing me out. I just started laughing at them. I'm the only person in a 1,000 miles that knows anything about this system. They lose their temper and tell me I'm fired and am to leave immediately. I really said thank you. Then left. This was December 15th, my oldest son's birthday. On the way home, I stop a mom and pop computer store, where I know some of the people to drop off a resume. They tell me that they have no openings right now, but will call me when they do. I talk to a couple friends while I'm there, then head on home. The only thing I'm worried about is telling my GF that I got fired. I walk through the door, she's at work. I see the answering machine blinking, so I hit play. Mom and pop computer store, our primary Novell engineer just quit, are you still available? I call them back and let them know I'll be there tomorrow. That began a much more peaceful career with better pay, rotating on-call, and most every weekend and holiday off. By the way, the medical transcription firm imploded. The VPs were fired. They floundered for about a year and were bought up by a competing firm. Sometimes it works, never. I receive a text from a gentleman, to be known as Cuz, who tells me the following. Me, what's the issue with the machine? Cuz, it has recently stopped turning on. It sometimes turns on without the RAM sticks, but other times not. Me, okay, sure, bring it on by. Cuz arrives and sets his new build on my table. I pull the side panels off and start looking at checking all the cables, making sure everything is seated properly, while plugging in my keyboard, display and power cable. I'm in the middle of saying, well, everything looks to be assembled correctly, when I see them. You know those big, tapered hard drive screws used to mount 3.5-inch hard drives into hard drive trays? Cuz has used those to mount his motherboard to the case. I remark that he has used the wrong screws, and look closer as the corner of his motherboard appears to literally be bending and touching the case. It is. All the corners are. There are no standoffs underneath this motherboard except for the center notched standoff that doesn't require a screw. I stop and unplug everything and tell him I can't turn it on as it is, and that the board has to be removed and either remounted properly or breadboard it to test it and make sure it's not toast. 'Cause it didn't come with standoffs. Me, typically the standoffs are already installed, and extras come in a little cardboard box tucked in the hard drive caddy of the new case. 'Cause there weren't any. I would have noticed. Me, well, I'm happy to go further and test it out and do the work, mount it properly if everything is working properly and hasn't been shorted out. 'Cause, nah, I should be able to do this. It's just some standoffs. Right now I'm thinking yes, you should be able to do this, but you didn't do it the first time, and not only that, you've insisted there are no standoff screws available, they didn't come pre-installed, and that there were none in the case, so how are you going to achieve this? Me, is this your first build? 'Cause it's my first build, recently, in about 20 years. Me, okay, well, good luck. As a side note, I see this a lot, typically not this bad, but it's always a variation of this. What I usually end up seeing are the wrong screws used to mount the MOBO, that over time vibrate loose and dance across the motherboard, shorting things out along the way. First time I've seen HDD screws used to mount the board snug to the case though. Choosing beggar client blows up my phone 3.5 hours after the store is closed. I run a small repair shop in the middle of nowhere. I had a client wait until 8:30 p.m. last night to text me. 3.5 hours after store hours. It ended up in a stupid argument because she doesn't like the answer I gave her and wants free work or free phone tech support, and I said no and finally blocked her number. For even more context, this computer came in unable to boot. Hard drive was dead. She donated the PC to me so she wouldn't have to pay the $50 bench fee, since she said $150 was too much for a new SSD plus Windows 10 install, which was me cutting her a $50 break since I usually charge $200 for that. So I kept it for about a week before she called me 4x asking for free tech support on how to get a new PC before finally wanting the donated one back, which I gave back to her when she paid the $150. Then last night she blew up my phone again. At 8:30 p.m. This is how the argument went. Her, why is this email on my login screen? Me, because Windows 10 requires an email. Her, well, what if I want to sell it? How do I get it off? Me, you don't. You have to reset it. Her, how do I do that? Me, you figure it out or give me $100 and I'll do it for you. Her, well, my printer doesn't work. It used to work before you had it. Classic line, always the printer doesn't work and you need to fix it for free. Me, how old is the printer? Her, 2007, a lie. Me, send me a picture of the error. Her, error says the printer isn't compatible, it's too old, supported up until Windows 7. Me, explains the error and gives her some fast solutions out of kindness. Same error message with 3 different approaches. Tell her to buy a new printer. Her, well, it used to work. Me, it would cost more for me to drive to your house to fix it. It's $150 for a house call for that and more if you need more stuff done. Her, well, I don't have a lot of money. Me, the price is the same for everyone. Her, well, how do I get my email off the login thing? Can I call you? Me, it's 9:30 p.m. I don't do over the phone tech support. You can have me fix it in shop for $100, on site for $150, those are your options. Thanks. Her, keeps saying the same sh*t. Me, I am sorry you are having this difficulty, but those are your options. Her, well, you said it would be just like I had it before, gaslighting, a lie. Me, I told you it would be as if you took it out of the package from the manufacturer. Same thing I tell everyone. Her, more whining about the same issue at the top of this page, expecting a diff answer. Me, blocks her number. I told this woman the previous day the shop closes at 5 p.m. We don't do phone support. She's already hassled me more than once trying to get out of paying her previous bills with sob stories and bullsh*t. Customer support 24x7, you say? Back in the late 90s, I worked for a freight forwarder setting up a new office in England. I handled their cargo tracking system data and customer support. The system used an access database and dial-up modem to retrieve data from a value-added network provider. It was so badly written that the database would constantly break while downloading updates and have to be repaired on my local machine. This entailed downloading the entire DB file, repairing it and uploading it again to the customer's cargo tracking PC. I had some fantastic training, including a 10-day trip to the US. Unfortunately, while I was there, a major customer, think global sports apparel brand, had a major data issue that I had to correct, according to my boss. I could not connect to their database from the freight forwarder's office as they had a new digital telephone network, so I had to do it via the hotel's analog telephone. It was urgent, and I had to do it over the weekend from Seattle. Downloading, repairing and re-uploading the database took from Friday evening to Sunday evening, allowing them to only lose Friday afternoon in the UK. I thought this was great customer service on my part, despite the challenges. It was painfully slow as at that time I was using the latest 48K baud modem. And I was literally connected for 35 to 40 hours. My boss chewed me out when I put in my travel expenses, and the hotel telephone bill was £4,000. He was just a sales manager, so completely clueless on any of my processes, and what I had to do to support his customers. I thought I'd saved the day, and he was angry. He was even more angry when I quit some months later to become an IT manager. Such is life.